Is Sam Smith an appropriate choice to headline the BBC Proms? It's time for tonight's head-to-head. So, the Beeb have decided in their infinite wisdom that the ideal act to headline a Proms event this summer is the non-binary pop star Sam Smith, famous for his overtly sexual live performances. Sam frequently dons devil horns and bondage gear. Let's just take a little bit of a look now. Viewer discretion is, of course, advised. Yeah. So, you don't need a long memory to remember the BBC using COVID as an excuse to try and ban the audience singing Land of Hope and Glory. The BBC have defended their decision, with the controller of BBC Radio 3, Sam Jackson, releasing the following statement. We have worked very hard with Sam Smith and their management to see how we can create something authentically Proms, and we look and feel that will be entirely appropriate for the audience in attendance. Look, tonight I'm asking, should Sam Smith be headlining a Proms event? Let me know your thoughts. Go to gbnews.com/your say. Tweet me at gbnews. And while you're there, go and vote in our poll. The results will follow shortly. Going head-to-head on this now is author and broadcaster Christine Hamilton and Davina De Campo, who finished runner-up as well on the first series of RuPaul's Drag Race. Look, great stuff. Thank you very much. Davina, an inspired, appropriate choice?
I don't see why not. One of Britain's biggest exports in the music industry being invited to perform at the Proms seems perfectly reasonable to me.
All right, Christine, I believe you might have a different view.
I certainly do. This is deliberately provocative by the BBC. It's a third-rate PR stunt to alienate their core viewers. He's a mediocre singer at best. I just hope that this is the final nail in the BBC licence fee coffin. It's about time. I mean, they have broadcast this and showcased it as saying this will be the only opportunity this year in the UK. Well, thank heavens for small mercies, we won't have to see them at all, because people will turn off in their droves. And if this is the best that the BBC can produce for the Proms, which is a classical music festival, that's what it is. There are plenty of opportunities for pop stars to appear all over the place, but they do not have to be on at the Proms, and it's ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
All right, Davina, I mean, you know, he's going to have to tone it down a bit.
Well, I mean, let's start with that. First, they've already said it's going to be appropriate for that. So, you know, art, you make it for the audience that is going to view it. So there is no reason to expect anything other than what you would expect from the Proms. And then if we go back to what Christine's talking about, you know, that this is a classical music event, absolutely. But actually, right from its inception, the Proms has been designed to bring people in. The person who actually created the Proms started with popular music in order to, in his words, train an audience for classical and contemporary music. And we've had pop artists at the Proms since 1970, you know, in terms of modern pop artists. So the idea that we haven't got pop artists and national, global names performing at this event is, frankly, historically illiterate.
OK. Christine, apart from the fact that you stand accused of being historically illiterate, I suppose there's also the question of, you know, Sam Smith has veered into, I think, what I would regard and what many people might regard as being quite provocatively sexual in recent times. You know, is that appropriate? Is that the main issue for you?
It's an issue. They say that what he does at the Proms is going to be appropriate. Frankly, nothing that Sam Smith has ever done or will ever do would be appropriate for a forum like the Proms. It's utterly ridiculous. And he's a porn star, frankly, and you've only got to Google and have a look.
That's the most ridiculous thing to say. He's a porn star. Christine, from somebody who I am absolutely certain there are more than enough pictures of you floating around on the internet, which would not be appropriate. For you to be accusing somebody else of pornographic material is frankly ridiculous.
All right.
Well, what you're referring to viewers don't know is that I appeared in the 20th.
I imagine they do.
All right, can I just say one at a time, please, because we're doing it over Zoom, so it really cuts out if both of you talk at the same time. So, Christine, go on.
I just need to respond to that.
Yes.
I was appearing in the Rocky Horror Show, which is a well-established show which millions of people have enjoyed over the years. There is never a moment when it isn't appearing somewhere in the world. So I was wearing Rocky Horror gear. That is a million miles away from Sam Smith, who, frankly, he's a fat bloke wearing nipple tassels and a corset. I mean, you know, he wants to be called they. He's not they. He's one person. He's a man. He's not they, for heaven's sake. And I think for the BBC, it is deliberately provocative. It is designed to alienate the poor people who watch the proms.
All right, Davina, let's try to keep it on Sam Smith. I know it's difficult at times, but let's try and keep it on Sam Smith. So, deliberately provocative, would you agree with that?
No, that one of the biggest pop stars of our generation would be invited to perform at the proms. How is that deliberately provocative? Sam Smith is doing nothing that Madonna wasn't doing 30, 40 years ago. You know, this is insane that you're talking about this person as if they're a porn star. This is ridiculous. Like the absolute level of moralizing from people who've wandered out in costume exactly the same as what Sam Smith is wearing on stage. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Can I just ask Davina, and then I'll go lob it back to Christine. There are some videos, some music videos, Davina, of, I think, with respect, some really, you know, quite graphic sexual acts, really, with Sam Smith. I agree with you. That does not make him a porn star. OK, I made that very clear before the lawyers are on the phone. But, you know, is that really the kind of thing, do you think, that should be at the proms? I thought it was a bit of a classy event. I mean, do you have faith that Sam Smith would tone it down, Davina, or do you just not think he needs to?
There's nothing that Sam Smith does that hasn't been seen by Madonna or Beyonce or Gaga or Rihanna or anybody in the chart. Britney Spears has worn less clothes than that, and she's been on plenty of things which are family friendly because you tailor it to the audience and the event that you are performing at. So this idea that, we can't let somebody do something in one place and then also do something in another, which is completely different, is ridiculous.
Okay, and Christine, final word to you on this. Look, he might just come. You know, his earlier work, he wasn't doing any of the stuff like this. He was just, you know, normal pop star, wasn't he? Earlier on, Christine, he could just come on and do that, can he?
The whole point is it's horses for courses, and the BBC clearly, if this is the best they can do, frankly, they need to give the proms over to somebody else to do. There are plenty of other outlets for pop stars. He is a pop star. He shouldn't be at the proms. And I mean, I'm almost speechless by the very idea of this. And I think you will find people turn off in their droves. And as I understand, I may not be right about this, so please correct me if I'm wrong, he is going to be singing Rule Britannia at the end. I mean, what? We have some wonderful operatic stars who would be fantastic singing that. We don't need Sam Smith.
I wonder if what's going to happen, Christine, actually, is we're going to end up with an Ollie Alexander situation here, where there's going to be calls for Sam Smith to not sing Rule Britannia because of its, connotations, Christine. I can see that coming.
Hang on, excuse me, what connotations? Everybody assumes that it has connotations with slavery. It doesn't. Rule Britannia was composed in the 1740s when we were in the middle of European wars. It was all about urging the British Navy to step up to the plate and rule the waves. It has nothing whatever to do with slavery. We had this argument a year ago. When whatever his name was complained about.
We have it any time it's ever sung, to be honest. Davina, very quickly, because sorry, I'm getting shouted at, but I do just want to give you the very final word. Would you be annoyed with Sam Smith if he belted out Rule Britannia?
Sam Smith can sing whatever Sam Smith would like to sing.
All right, fair enough. You know what? I had two fillings earlier, and I was in a really bad mood. This has cheered me right up. So thank you very, very much, both of you. Thoroughly good stuff. Cracking head-to-head. Right, who do you agree with? Your verdict is now in. 19% of you think that Sam Smith should perform at the proms. 81% of you disagree.